Okay, so you're telling me I need to warm up. I need to make sure I'm taking care of my vocal health. I need to make sure that I am practicing, I am rehearsing, I'm answering all of these emails. I need to then go teach voice lessons. Maybe some people are going and working a 9 to 5, and then you need to go to rehearsal at night. How the heck are we supposed to do it all? My friends, let me tell you, time management is going to save you, and it's a skill. It's okay if you don't feel good at it right now, but you must learn. Hello, and welcome back to the Singer Saved by Sales podcast. My name is Jordan Schreiner. I'm an opera singer, I'm a voice professor, and I help people build businesses online to take the financial pressure off of their artistic medium. Today, I want to break down some of my best tips for when I'm looking at time management. What are the things that have helped me over my 12 plus year journey of building an online voice business, building my singing career, and building an online sales career as well. That trifecta, how I have done it and not burned out. So the thing that we probably all can understand as artists is that we have that chaos phase. All of us are going to experience that moment in time, or that season in time where we are like, I feel like I'm running around with like a chicken with its head cut off. I feel like my hair is on fire. I feel like I can't keep up. I'm drowning in work, right? I always feel that in quarter 1 of the year when you're like getting ready to submit your taxes and doing all the things and finalizing all of the paperwork. It just all stacks on top of each other. So we all are going to experience that chaos phase in some way or another. So the thing about life is that we all will experience a chaos phase. And I have had many seasons of chaos and then some seasons of calm. But when I go through and dissect what is really causing the chaos for me, it's when you realize that you're doing a lot, but you're not necessarily getting a lot done. And that is a big problem in terms of time management. I can literally recall the year that I woke up and I was like, okay, so I'm teaching all of these lessons. I'm singing main stage and outreach programs, and I'm building this online sales business. And I still feel like I'm drowning financially, but I'm also drowning like I have no time. I don't quite have enough time to get 8 hours of sleep every night. I don't quite have enough time to meal prep. I don't quite have enough time to make sure that I'm balancing my finances. You just feel like you're constantly behind. And so I had to look at, where am I wasting time? Where do I feel like I'm putting in work, but it's busy work. It's not actually moving the needle in my productivity. And that's what I want to help you dissect today. Where am I wasting time, and how can I be 1% more efficient? Because 1% turns to 5%, and 5% will turn to 20, and 20 to 50, 50 to 100. You just have to figure out, what are the little cracks in my day that I'm not being efficient with my time? Because if you can dial in on those, you are going to become way more productive, and you'll have way more free time to do the things you need to do. The realization moment for me is that I didn't actually need more time. I needed better systems, and I needed better boundaries, okay? If we can get better systems, if we can systematize, the voice studio runs because I do this, this, and this every week. My voice feels like it's in shape, and I'm learning my music because I do this, this, and this every week. My sales business and my sales team is doing well because I'm doing this, this, and this every week. What are those non-negotiables? What are the systems? What are the boundaries? And build your life around those things so that they can coexist together. Now, when we really get down to it, we need to look and see that the artistic brain is just a little different from our other non-artist friends. Artists are creatives. Artists are spontaneous. Most music schools are teaching discipline, but they're not teaching systems. Discipline and systems are not the same thing. Discipline is, yeah, I need to show up every day. Discipline is, yeah, I need to make sure that I'm memorized when I show up to that first rehearsal. Discipline is, I need to make sure that I'm putting my best product out every day. But a system is going to be that routine, the process that you go through every day to make sure that you're not only showing up, but that you're growing. And that sometimes it can almost go on autopilot because the system is functional. You just get into a rhythm and you keep going. Some of the biggest signs of poor time management are going to be that feeling like you're on the verge of constant burnout. Okay, you can take a screenshot of this album artwork, put it in your stories, tag me, and say, yup, I feel like I'm on the verge of burnout, because I'm telling you, yeah, sometimes we have too much on our plate, but it goes back to my original thought of, it's not necessarily that we don't have enough time, it's that we're not using our time effectively. And if we can use our time more effectively, we can build in more downtime because we are more efficient. Another thing that's going to point to poor time management skills is when you wake up and you're like, ooh, I double booked myself. I'm supposed to be here and here at 8 a.m. tomorrow. How am I going to do it? right? Poor time management skills are going to lead us down that road. The other thing that you're going to find yourself doing if you have poor time management is skipping the important things. Think about how many times you have skipped a full, proper warm up, whether you are a singer or not. That can translate into whatever that looks like in your life. Maybe it's you exercising or you not. But skipping the important things to try to catch up on the things that maybe might not seem that important, but it's all building blocks, right? I know personally that if I take the time to warm up my voice well, then my speaking voice as I teach all day is going to be better. If my speaking voice is better all day, then my singing voice is going to be way more preserved by the time I get to the end of the day and I'm like, ooh, I need to practice that handle. And the last symptom of poor time management is the feeling of always being behind, feeling like you just can't catch up, you can't get a break. So time management is not about being rigid. It's about giving your dreams a container, a structure, a system so that it can actually flourish. I want to run you down through 5 really quick things that you could think about in terms of time management hacks. Number 1 is going to be theme your days. I want you to take notes on this because you might hear something that clicks and you might actually be able to do a 180 right now, especially if you're on the verge of burn. Number 1, theming your days can be really helpful if you are someone who feels like you're squirrel brained. If you're like, okay, I need to go do dishes and then I gotta go grocery shopping and then I gotta work out and then I gotta go pay the bills and then I gotta go. Take a breath. Let's structure our days with a theme if the type of work you do will allow it. For example, recently I made my Mondays, my beginning day of the week, much more admin work than teaching work. I used to teach 8 or 9 hours of lessons on Monday because my energy is really high on Mondays. But what I realized is that my energy is really high, but my creative energy is even higher. So that is the day where I need to be shooting content. That is why I am filming this podcast on a Monday and why the podcast is released on Tuesdays is because my energy is high. I've had the weekend to recharge. I have had the weekend to enjoy myself. I come back on Monday ready to create. So my Mondays are centered around content creation. My Mondays are centered around a little bit of teaching. My Mondays are centered around practicing and around thinking about how I need to tackle the rest of the week and what I can bring to the table. So for you, maybe you are like, you know what? My creative energy is also high on Monday. Mondays are going to be my content creation days, the days that I practice and the days that I do blank. Pick 3 things. Tuesdays, maybe you dedicate 75% of your working energy to teaching or to whatever way you make money outside of your artistic medium. How can you look at how your natural flow of energy is and how can you use that to your advantage? I am high energy, really motivated Monday through Thursdays. I still have a good amount of energy on Friday, but the creative side of my brain's a little tired by the time I get to Friday. So I teach, I do content creation, I practice hardcore Monday through Thursday. My Friday is just a teaching day. Not because I don't need that creative energy, I do, but it's different. That type of sitting down to teach and working with singers all day on a Friday fills my soul. It doesn't quite take away from my soul energy. What I want you to do is take 3 minutes to journal on this. Where does your energy flow naturally? Are you lit up like a Christmas tree on Saturdays? Maybe your traditional weekend shouldn't be on Saturdays. Maybe you should start your week on Saturday and you work Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you take Thursdays and Fridays for your weekend. Don't let anyone convince you that you should be doing something specific. You need to figure out how your body vibes, and you need to run with it. Because if you do, your time management is going to skyrocket. Tip number 2, use time blocks, not to-do lists. Your to-do list is going to grow like the freaking weeds out in front of your house. You should see you can't even call it a garden. It's not a flower bed. It is just outside in front of our house. It's just sad. And I'm thinking about how it's just weeds out there and I need to hire someone to go do it. Okay, that's going to be your to-do list. You have to figure out what are your time blocks. Time blocks are going to give your priorities a home within inside of your calendar. So like 9 a.m. every morning, I am responding to DMs. 10 a.m. every morning, I am warming up. 11 a.m., I am 12 p.m., I am 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. I have blocks of energy in there rather than just a to-do list and I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, it's 2 o'clock. I've burned a lot of time scrolling social media. Anyone been there? Yeah. So how can you figure out how a time block could give you more certainty that it's like 1 o'clock every day, I do this? A pro tip around your time blocks is to use Google Calendar or a planner. So actually schedule everything in like a meeting. If we need to get into our schedule and schedule things like meetings that would be required at a 9 to 5, especially if you are an entrepreneur. I tell all my students at the university, you need to schedule your practice time like it's a class. And if you don't show up to it, you're going to fail that class. So how can you do that for yourself today? Tip number 3 is we all need to set non-negotiables. If it's not in the calendar, it does not exist. And maybe y'all aren't as busy as me, and that's not true for you. But if you are building a life of purpose, that you are driven, that you are chasing goals, you're eventually going to get to a place where you feel like your schedule can be out of control. So if you can start practicing now to set your time blocks into your calendar, your non-negotiables, it's going to take an extra layer of stress off of your brain, because you don't need to hold everything inside. You don't need to remember everything. You have an external tool you can keep going back to. My warm-ups, my workouts, my business time, my appointments, they're all tasks in my calendar that I'm going to do, and I have a little reminder in there that's going to ping and pattern disrupt if I'm lost in the sauce of a scroll, or I'm talking to a customer for way too long. I'm like, oh my God, I got to go create content. Have those safety nets built in so that you can stay on track and keep showing up to your non-negotiables. Tip number 4, it took me way too long to learn this: build in buffer time. If you are running from gig to gig, if you are running from appointment to appointment, you are going to be so stressed. Build in 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes of buffer time. I always put a 10-minute block in between long appointments so that I can go stretch, so that I can let the dog out, that I can go get a drink, that I can go shake up a ketone, that I can go hydrate, do the things I need to do to reset my brain and go into the next appointment with a clear head, instead of dragging some of that old energy into the next appointment. Set some buffer time. The worst thing that happens is you have some time to walk around, stretch, and get some steps in. Number 5 is to realize that the 80-20 rule is real, and you need to figure out how to use it to your advantage. The 80-20 rule just states that 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. So what I mean by that is, what are the 3 things that you need to do every day that are actually going to move the needle in your business? So when I think about me building my online voice studio, what are the things that actually help me get in front of new singers out on the internet so that they can see if they want to come study with me? Number 1 is consistent content creation. I have to do that. Number 2 is that I need to respond to DMs. I need to make sure that I am building real relationships in the DM so that people can get to know me. Because people purchase or choose to do business with others that they know, that they like, and that they trust. So I know that if I'm creating the content and I'm building real relationships, that those are 2 things that are going to move the needle in my business. Those are the things that are going to actually give me results, not just the busy work that can come up with that. The thing I will tell you is that artists are some of the most disciplined people that I know. We have trained for years. We show up and we play full out. We show up and have a whole freaking opera memorized and are just like ready to go do it. You can absolutely build a time management system. It just takes a little bit of time. And it's one of those tasks that if you've never done it before, it can feel really daunting. But I want to give you permission to take messy action. Try building a little bit of a time management schedule. Take one of the tips you heard today and put it into practice this week. And don't wait till next Monday. Start today, Tuesday. Start tomorrow, Wednesday. But just start one little thing, because that can have an absolute snowball effect on your life. If this episode helped you feel a little bit more in control or gives you a little bit of hope for the future, I would love for you to take a screenshot of the artwork that you're seeing on your screen right now and put it in your Instagram and Facebook stories. Tag me at JMSTenor and let me know what your biggest takeaway is. I would love to see which of the 5 tips you feel like could actually help you in your day-to-day life and decrease some of that stress. If you have not done so already, if you could please click subscribe and go leave a 5-star review if you're getting value from this podcast, it would be greatly appreciated and will help other people find the Singer Saved by Sales podcast. Make sure that you have notifications turned on for us, and we will see you next Tuesday.